Zabracus here, and welcome to my nerd house. Today we are going to be exploring the enigma that is my bookcase. So you guys see it in the background of all my streams, you see it in the background of my YouTube videos, and many of you have asked like, hey, what's that book right there? Or what's that figurine there, you know? So I figure, why not just show you all the amazingness that is this giant bookcase of mine. Be sure to upvote the video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so that you can see more silly nerd house channels. Glad to have you on board. So first of all, my bookcase and books mean a lot to me. Before I was a big gamer nerd, my first true nerd calling was actually books. Growing up, my mom used to take me to the library every 2 weeks, and I'd get as many books as she would even let me carry, and I would devour them. Alright, so reading was my first escape as a child. It was my first introduction to the world, really. I loved reading. But because I'd always go to the library, my mom wouldn't ever really buy me any books. And so I never really got to fully understand that true wonderfulness of owning your own books until later in life, when she finally relented and started buying me books. It kind of became our special thing together, that she'd take me to the bookstore, and then instead of, you know, renting out all the books I could possibly carry at the library, she'd let me buy a couple books here and there. So let's explore, shall we? Okay. So, first of all, the top shelf, and most of the books here are pretty well just fantasy books, but we've got Harry Potter books here. I used to have all the Harry Potter books, but I loaned a couple of them out over the years and never got them back. So I've only got the last 4 here right now, but we do got Tales of Beedle the Bard, and we have the original Quidditch Through the Ages and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So those are pretty sweet. And then we have Queen of Shadows, which is a book in a series, and this one is actually signed by the author, a friend of mine. So I don't actually have a physical copy of my favorite book, which is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, but these are definitely up there as my top books. And then of course we have to have the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit books, surrounded and protected by the lovely Funko Pops of Lord of the Rings characters. We got Aragorn with his muddy boots. We've got Pippin, you know, always wanting second breakfast. We've got Gollum with the One Ring. Yes, this is in fact the One Ring. Gollum is of course protecting his precious. And then of course we've got the Balrog, you know, just as a big little threat to everybody there. And then next to all these epic fantasy novels, I am also a huge Peter Pan fan. Peter Pan was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. I absolutely love the book. I love the theme of the book. My one and only tattoo, which is super faded now, says "I'm off to Neverland." Peter Pan means a lot to me. And so I have the Peter and the Starcatcher series. I have a couple versions of Peter Pan. I'm to a different genre, okay? So I'm also a huge Alice in Wonderland fan, right? So I've got Through the Looking Glass, Wars, some of those books. We've got various renditions of Alice in Wonderland stories. So the Looking Glass Wars, Alice in Zombieland, and then 2 different versions of Alice in Wonderland and other Lewis Carroll stories. Then of course, we have to have Jurassic Park, right? You can't have, you gotta have some Michael Crichton, right? You gotta have some dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. Then of course we have the Aragon series, Dante, and then some just random fantasy books. And now we've got all sorts of other things just like decorating this bookcase, right? So I can't just have books, gotta have some fun things. So this is a nice little dice rolling thingamathing. Dice tower, that's the word, dice tower. And then a lot of the things on the bookshelf are things that have meant a lot to me over the years, or things like that. So basically this bookshelf is kind of a representation of me, my personality, and my life story, right? So this little cute little truck here, I got that from a service trip in Mexico in, I believe, 2013. Those were actually trucks that we were giving out to children at orphanages and whatnot. They allowed me to keep one as a keepsake since we had extras. And then the little basket atop it is actually a little basket that I bought from a Mayan village in Guatemala on a different service trip. I think that one was in 2016, 2015. My years get mixed up. And then we'll start over here. We have the Series of Unfortunate Events, also one of my absolute favorite book stories. Lemony Snicket definitely broadened my words horizons. Definitely learned what a lot of words mean from his books, which is fantastic. And what's also great is it introduced me to, you know, like the bleakness of life and the, you know, things don't always work out for the heroes. So, and things can just be a series of unfortunate events. So I really love those books. And of course we got Louise trolling. And then we just have some various adult 1800s style kind of stories. Pretty much all of the books on this shelf are more or less young adult novels. We've got The Alchemist, Great and Terrible Beauty, and then we have some of Terry Goodkind's books. I actually haven't read these yet. One of my old roommates gave these to me. I still need to read those. And of course we've got Bakugo protecting all of those. World War Z, the Supernatural book of monsters, spirits, demons, and ghosts, you know, so that we can demon hunt properly. And then just kind of some just silly geeky books mixed in with Wuthering Heights. Fun fact, so down here you'll see these lovely Twilight books. Yes, I've read Twilight. Yes, I still own the Twilight books. Judge me how you want. I enjoyed them when they came out. Fight me. But fun fact, so I had never read Wuthering Heights before I read Twilight. And you know, in Twilight, Bella references Wuthering Heights all the time, like constantly, right? So I was like, okay, I gotta read this book to like properly understand these things. So I actually bought and read Wuthering Heights because of Twilight. So if you try to tell me that Twilight doesn't encourage something more than just sparkling vampires, you're wrong. Then of course we've got some Ayn Rand. We've got Dracula, which is actually my absolute favorite vampire novel. So see, we've got the smutty, sparkly vampires, and then we've got the OP true vampire, right? So we counterbalance. We've got the Hunger Games. I do really enjoy those books. Vanity Fair, fantastic movie, really hard to get through book, but still a good book. Memoirs of a Geisha, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Boop. City of Ashes, Love and Thumps. Pretties, Uglies, Fablehaven, some lovely books that were sent to me by some of you guys. We've got some Norwegian social laws, a book on Norway, How to Attack Minnesota. And now we've got our fun little sci-fi books. Some right there. Then we've got the Septimus Heap book series there. And then, of course, I hope you noticed my beautiful Harry Potter wand. Again, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. And then down here, we've got all of my high school yearbooks, which have been turned around so you cannot stalk me. Please and thank you. Some old journals that are basically full of pretty much nothing because I was terrible at keeping journals as a child. And they're just pretty boring anyway, really. I never wrote anything interesting in journals. Imagine that. And then kind of down on the bottom bookshelf is just kind of really random books, right? But this is actually Sand and Ocean Water from one of my trips to Mexico for one of the service trips I did down there. And then we've just got, yeah, some super just random books. We've got a Cleopatra book. We've got Ida B, definitely some weird ones. But as I accidentally knocked her over. But we do have, oh blast, she doesn't want to stay standing. Let's put her there. We've got the Queen of England and a Corgi, because you know, Gotta have the Queen of England and a corgi. Absolutely. And then Sisters Grimm books. We already went over the Twilight books. And then here, I do have some more just random things that I've collected from my travels. So sand and dirt and water from more oceans and other places. I also keep in here some volcanic rock that I brought back from when I hiked Volcan Acatenango in Guatemala. So got a couple of those. And then a whole bunch of textbooks from school that I kept for some odd reason because I don't like throwing books away, right? Like, books are special to me, so even if I hated reading these books in school, I still kept a lot of them. Most of the ones I kept, though, are cinema books because I'm also a cinemaphile. I love movies. I actually have a minor in film theory as part of my college degree. And another fun fact about me, I do own Robert's Rules of Order, okay? So for those of you who don't know what that is, this is like the rules of order that like Congress and stuff follows, all right? I was a huge speech and debate nerd in high school. I even did student congress, and so that's why I have that book. And yes, I've read a lot of it. Yeah. We got a psychology book, we've got Monster Hunter, we've got Crowley protecting a lot of this, Bulma protecting a lot of this, and that's a puzzle over there. So we've got quite the array of just random books, right? And these, obviously these don't represent all the books that I've read. I primarily listen to Audible books these days just because, one, I don't really have a whole lot more room for physical books, and two, I don't have the time and patience anymore to just sit down and read books. And so Audible books I can just listen to when I'm in the car, when I'm getting ready. So that's generally how I indulge in reading these days. One more fun kind of secret about this bookshelf, all right? So this looks like a book, but it's not. The gasp. So what's actually in here is money and coins from my various travels. And I'm only showing this to you guys because there's literally less than probably like $20 worth of coins in this thing, or money. But, so if you try to rob me, you're really not stealing much, other than I'll be still upset still. But I believe this is Guatemalan money. We've got some Chinese money. We've got some Nepali rupees. We've of course got a $2 bill. Yeah, that's neat. Again, more Nepali rupees, more Chinese money. We got some Mexican pesos. We've got some Canadian money. Nice, nice. More Chinese money. And then a whole slew of just random coins. There's mostly, I think there's some loonies and toonies in here. There might be like a gold dollar. There's a lot of just Mexican pesos. I also have a bunch of Canadian pennies because I love Canadian pennies. Like, yeah. So again, this isn't worth much monetarily, so don't try to steal my special money, okay? But it means a lot to me because I like collecting things from my travels, obviously, right? So, all right, so that is basically the Enigma that is my bookcase. So now you guys know. You can make fun of me for the young adult novels that I love to read and indulge in. You can make fun of me for, you know, still owning Twilight. That's totally fine. But yeah, I hope you learned more about me in this video. I hope you learned more about the lovely bookcase that is always here behind me. And in general, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to upvote and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, stay geeky. Bye guys.